Hey guys, so today I'm going to be upcycling a skirt into this tube top. So let's go and have a look and see how I did that.
Okay, so here we are, starting with some charity shopping. Always the best place to start. That is Josh, everybody.
Yo, Josh.
Great charity shopping partner. So here I'm just sorting out everything I got and putting it into piles of what needs to be washed in what heat. Putting everything in the wash. Apart from the skirt I bought, that actually was a hand wash item, so I hand washed that one. So the first thing I did after washing, of course, was to take the skirt apart. It's the easiest thing really, I suppose, when you're upcycling, unless you're making something that's very similar to the original pattern, which I thought I was, but in the end I ended up just completely taking the skirt apart and putting it all back together differently. Yeah, so you can see there I actually took off the zip and the clasp. There was a little clasp at the top, and I put those aside for later on. It took me so long as well to unpick every single stitch, especially with the silk side there. The lining wasn't too bad, but the silk is so slippery, and the stitch ripper, seam ripper, was just like would go through the material and fray it so easily. So I undid all the darts as well because I realised that would make my life so much easier. And what I planned to do originally was to put a zip in there and shape it to the body, and then I realised that it would be very difficult to put on and off, so I changed my mind later on, but you'll see that in a little while. So what I did, I just ironed everything out, made sure it was all straight, took out all the darts from previously, and make sure you use the correct setting, because I've done this before where I haven't checked what heat to use on the iron and I've completely melted the clothes. So as you can see there, I'm just checking what heat to use and making sure I use the right one. And if that doesn't work, you can always go up, but it's always a good idea just to check. So now I'm doing some measurements, trying to figure out what size I am going to make this. I wasn't going to make one to fit me. I was actually going to make this in a size 6 or 8. That was the original plan because there wasn't actually enough material to make it in a size 12 for myself. So yeah, that was when I was going to put the zip in though. So yeah, just hemming down or ironing down all the hems and all the seams, making sure everything's nice and neat, and then I just traced over what I'd already done onto the lining shape wise and cut the same thing out, copied basically what I'd done on the first go. Okay, so here I am picking the stitches because I wanted to put the zip in. I don't know why I decided to pick the stitches and open it up, but I did. I ironed it down and then I realised I needed it all to be sewn together to put a zip in, so I went back and sewed the seam back together, and then I went back and ironed it again, and then I realised I don't actually want it to have a zip in because that would be very difficult to put on and off. So instead of putting the zip in the side, I decided to put some elastic in the back, so I cut out where I wanted to have the elastic, and then I decided to drape the darts on Matilda and sew in the darts. Make sure it all fits, double check every time. And then I decided to do the same on the outside fabric. Just make sure everything is measuring the same on the outside fabric as it is on the lining, otherwise it will be a bit crooked. So yeah, just sewing the darts in there and again trying it on Matilda. Now I wanted to iron the fabric out and iron all the darts and the seams in the way. I don't know why, but I've heard that that's the right thing to do. So yeah, now I'm pinning and tacking and sewing right sides together on the top and the bottom of the top. and then I will turn this inside out and iron down those seams. First I iron them flat, and then I iron them like together. It's very difficult to explain. So yeah, trying on Matilda again, and I'm just checking where I want to have the elastic, and once I've decided where I want to put the elastic, I'm going to sew it in place. So yeah, then you just need to make sure it's fitting fine, and then I went and top stitched over everything, all the edges, and then because this was a very easily frayed fabric, I used a pinking shears and I zigzagged over the edge. Unfortunately, I don't have a overlocker. And here you can actually see the aftermath of me sewing. My room is just a bit of a disaster afterwards. There's always fabric and thread everywhere.
So there you go, that's how I made this